Okay, we're back on Earth 2 because Earth 2 has this unbelievable propensity to find the stupidest possible course of action, and it's effectively beneficial to me in like 3 different ways. 1, it's hilarious and I like to talk about it. 2, it makes me money because a lot of the people who subscribe to this channel also love talking about it as they watch the videos. And 3, I have a special place in my heart for denigrating scams, especially when those scams are, I believe in my personal opinion, willfully negligent, malicious, or dishonest. Earth 2 has had quite a few updates over the past few weeks, and I didn't choose to cover them because in a vacuum, none of them really struck me as something I needed to weigh in on. Other creators have done so already, that was more than plenty, and I also had some different topics on my mind, but more recently there have been a couple more revelations that make it impossible not to talk about this because what in the world is going on within that company? For starters, Earth 2 has had its relative property value fall off of a cliff. I've discussed this before, so I'll summarize quickly. The basic gist is that people realized that their property is a joke, but the entire marketplace is just one long-form listing of please buy my useless shit. And the only way to get noticed is to undercut everyone else. That means that the value started to crater, and then, honestly, it never stopped. But it wasn't just that. The thing about Earth 2 is that the marketplace they use has some sort of proprietary algorithmically driven pricing system. I don't know the exact formula, I'm not privy to that sort of information, but for a long time the price of new tiles had progressively increased day after day after day. This was catalyzed by new money flowing in, and there was a lot of new money flowing in because it kind of went viral about a year ago, and whatever current marketplace transactions were being fulfilled, but when the price cratered, tiles in the United States, for example, this was true across almost every country in the world, began to sell for 1/10 of their purchase value. Well, when the new land value, the price that they put on the tiles, is over $60 per unit, and the only reasonable sale price at that time is 90% discounted, that means anyone who buys new tiles is looking at an immediate 90% loss. That only got worse over time. Somewhere over the past month or two, I'm not sure exactly when, I guess I could look at the Wayback Machine and find out precisely, but it doesn't really matter. Somewhere over the past month or two, Earth 2 changed the pricing for new tiles. And now you can buy tiles for around $5 per unit. That means that the previous marketplace cost of $6, which was 90% off compared to their claimed price, by the way, is higher than the new tile price. And that means, you guessed it, further decline. If you look at the marketplace now, tiles are selling for less than $1. That means that compared to new tile prices, to get yourself noticed, you need to discount property by roughly 80% off of its new price point. And if you go back even just a couple of months, anyone who bought tiles at the previous algorithmic price point has lost roughly 98% of their initial investment, just to get seen in the marketplace, let alone actually sell their tiles. My previous statements about how there actually is no floor, like the bottom, we don't even know where the bottom is in terms of price. Yeah, I was right, and it's probably still falling. I'll check back in a couple weeks or months. But that's old news. The part about how anyone who bought fresh tiles over the past few months probably lost 98% of their money is new, that part in particular, but we knew that was coming, so whatever. What isn't old news is how the development team is basically falling apart. And I know some people will want to dispute that, so let me explain exactly how. For starters, one of their big brain partnerships, which aimed at rebuilding their shattered reputation, that collapsed at the end of October, I think it was. Vicarious PR was, in their mind, a strategic partnership, and they really like those words, but in reality there was basically no actual value, and it's now fallen apart. By itself, no big deal, but when combined with everything else in context, you'll see. Next was the departure of key development figures. Two of the people that Earth 2 proponents would often cite as the guiding light for the project, Wolfgang Walk and Nathaniel Doldersum, I think it is, they left. In the case of Wolfgang Walk, it seemed that he had disagreements about the direction and monetization of Earth 2, and for Nathaniel, he was leaving to work on a different project. These weren't the only ones, by the way. The lead community manager, Thomas Marcon, also left, and there were a bunch of press releases and community posts to say in thousands of words, "It's okay guys, things are fine, things are great," but things definitely didn't seem fine. Also, kind of a shout out here to Earth 2 News, Earth2.news. Their website is a pretty good place to find info on the project, even if I'm using that info to say that the project is a ridiculous joke. They're on top of things, generally speaking, when it comes to honest reporting of events, even if they do put kind of a spin on it, and I thought that was worth a mention. I do just want to say that they're putting out a bunch of information and it helps me make content, so I guess thank you to them. Okay, high-profile developers left the team, including Nathaniel Doldersum, and that's important because Nathaniel Doldersum is the co-founder and previous lead designer for Drone. Drone was a decently interesting action game on Steam, and what some people might not know is that Earth 2 effectively poached Nathaniel from Drone, and the project kinda died right around the same time. If I remember correctly, he wasn't even the only dev that they acquired from that particular team, but he was obviously the most important. Well, lo and behold, in the pursuit of fulfilling their promises of creating the literal Matrix, Earth 2 has now acquired Drone, its team, and all of their assets. This is being heralded by some as a highly important acquisition because it gives them the technology to deliver an actual game. But in reality, it kind of makes no sense. First and foremost, the co-founder and previous lead developer for a game leaves your team right before you acquire his old team of developers and all of his old work. That's weird. Also, Drone is basically just using Unity plugins, which means that they aren't getting anything out of this that they couldn't already have gotten many, many months ago in its rudimentary form. Also very weird. And most importantly, they plan to release a free-to-play version of Drone, I guess next year, with updated features and integrations on Steam, which means that they aren't actually creating the Matrix, they're just buying an existing kind of low-level action FPS game and retrofitting it so that they can monetize more people and say, look, we have gameplay. Also, they are leaning into crypto and NFT mechanics. This is demonstrated by their press releases and most importantly by their partnership. I mean, they have tons of partnerships that fall apart, so who knows how long this will last, but their partnership with a company called Polygon, which focuses on that particular technology. They want to go with blockchain, they want to ride the hype wave, and when Wolfgang Walk was openly disagreeing about the monetization techniques of the game, it's not a game, I need to stop calling it a game. Ugh, that's a stupid error on my part. It's not a game. They're going to have Drone at some point, and they're going to try and integrate whatever. Oh, this project. But Wolfgang Walk was openly disagreeing about the monetization techniques of this project, notably that certain things should not yet be another profit mechanism for the company, right? He was kind of trying to stop them from doing that with every single thing that they released, and he leaves, maybe as a result of that. Well, what do we think is going to happen to Drone? Are they just going to update it with tons of content, make it free to play, and then say you're welcome? Or are they going to bastardize it with NFTs and cryptocurrency infrastructure, link it to their destabilized and free-falling economy, with air quotes, and then disperse it on Steam to hook in more players? You decide. But still, we haven't even gotten to my favorite part. Shane Isaac, the CEO of Earth 2, in a conversation with Sid Alpha, literally tried to get him to do paid content for the game. Not just that, but he also offered privileged information on an investment platform, because that's the closest thing to what Earth 2 actually is, despite how stupid the investment is itself, and its future. He offered information on an investment platform and its future in return for promotion. I don't even know if that's legal. You'd have to ask Hogue Law. He's another great YouTube channel that has covered this before, but I am certain that the CEO of this project reaching out to Sid Alpha, of all people, anyone who's familiar with him will know why, he has no interest, as far as I am aware, to engage with shady under-the-table deals with scam companies. Well, the entire thing is just patently absurd. Except that's not even the funniest thing. The funniest thing is that in a lengthy exchange, Shane alludes multiple times to some sort of shady, nefarious entity that is coordinating and controlling all of the negative coverage of Earth 2. And honestly, he sounds a little bit unhinged. He talks about how he thinks someone is behind the curtain, organizing it all from the corner, and half of me kinda hopes he thinks it's me. Obviously, there is no shady puppeteer who has coordinated everyone against his innocent company. That's just hilarious. And I doubt that I would be the prime candidate anyway if someone were to assume who this speculative person is. But if Shane Isaac thinks that Palpatine is back and secretly convening the Empire against him, yeah, it's me, buddy. You sound like you are out of your mind anyway, so you might actually believe it. You have to be kind of not fully with it to approach Sid Alpha for that kind of deal in the first place. Part of me thinks anyone who watches his content would immediately know that that's not going to go well. He's got morals. Subscribe to his channel. It's linked down below in the description. He does excellent gaming coverage. So I don't really know what kind of headspace Shane is in. What is he actually thinking right now? But this whole thing is hilarious, to say the very least. Earth 2 is a revolving door of concepts, personnel, partnerships, and money. They onboard devs, key devs from Drone, and then lose the co-founder of the project right before actually getting the rest of the team in the game itself. The most high-profile dev the community brags about leaves over disagreements in monetization. I don't know if that's the direct cause, actually. I shouldn't say. I'm speculating there. But it's worth noting, okay? He left after certain comments, like what very little activity is available from him online shows that he was not a fan of their monetization decisions. So I don't know if that's the direct cause, but I believe so. My personal belief is that there was some kind of tie in there. They try to integrate crypto, Earth 2 does, and NFTs, and now they want to retrofit a vehicular FPS action game, which is, I don't know. Okay, here's a comparison. This might not make sense, but bear with me. Imagine if Respawn was making Titanfall 3, right? Like, but it's bigger than ever before. It's like huge, ambitious thing, Titanfall 3. And then like a year into it or 2 years into it, they buy Mario Party or like an indie ripoff of Mario Party, and they're like, hey, look at this great shit we got. It's going to make the project amazing. Look at the technology. No, it's not. Oh, and a good catch by Big Fry in one of his recent videos. Subscribe to him too. Channel is linked down below in the description. It turns out that a profile named Jasmine on Discord, when the developers left, Wolfgang and Nathaniel, Jasmine banned them from the public Discord server. That doesn't sound like an amicable parting of the ways. That sounds like they disagreed and got kind of yeeted. Or the company itself is just completely petty, which I guess we already knew. I mean, they did hire a pretty well-proven scammer who then lied on tape about the CEO funding a $4 million lawsuit against YouTubers. It's a ridiculous thing. I don't even know what's going on there because reputable developers aren't banning their ex-employees from the public Discord server. Earth 2 really does seem like it just strings people along. They do whatever little thing they can to get their community to keep paying. And this time it's crypto, it's NFTs, and it's acquiring drone, right? So they can say, look, we have a game, we have gameplay, and access a new demographic through Steam. They would have been better off just building their metaverse with Unity plugins, like raw Unity plugins, rather than buying the technology of drone, because the technology of drone is just Unity plugins. And now they have to shoehorn in action FPS, something that's unrelated really. They have to shoehorn it into their Google Earth tile economy and vice versa. I'm convinced that Shane Isaac and their entire team, their whole project, is just flying by the seat of their pants. They have no idea what is happening on a broader level, and the resulting confusion over partnerships and direction and roadmap and all this stuff is just hilarious. Earth 2 remains a joke, but that's it for today. If you want to support, there are links down below, including Patreon, as I try to make the primary income stream for the channel something other than Google AdSense, or YouTube AdSense, whatever, it's unreliable. Also, Odyssey, a YouTube platform alternative, where you can watch all the content completely ad-free. Other gaming YouTubers to support, merchandise, social media, etc., a whole bunch of different links, standard stuff for YouTubers, but I'll cut it there and stop rambling. As always, thank you all for watching, and have a nice night.